Sorry, yes, Bob. You're sounding very nice tonight, though.
Oh, good. I'm going to try and stay at this distance from my mic.
I just meant you. It had nothing to do with the technical aspects.
Okay.
Well, nice.
Thanks.
Smug.
Thanks, man.
Full of yourself. Full of yourself.
I'm a good talker.
Prior to that, you're a good talker. You're a great talker, actually. And I never think that while we're recording, but when I edit, I'm like, damn it, he's really good at this. Just joking. I don't think that. No, I do. Anyways, here we go.
Okay.
I hope you stay on this show because I like doing it with you.
Right.
But I don't know if that's. Yeah, I understand if that's not reciprocated. But I like doing it with you.
Oh, thanks.
And that space is for you to jump in with something like, or yeah, or.
I'm really hoping that we would just start this episode. That's why I'm not trying to engage too much. But Tim, I also very much enjoy doing these with you.
Yeah?
Yes.
Because we haven't started this one yet.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
Hey everyone ever, and welcome to a bonus episode of 20th Century Pop. My name is Tim Blevins, and I'm just very quickly here to tell you that today's episode is sort of it's our second volume of bloopers, outtakes, recordings between Bob and I for shows that didn't make it on the air for various reasons, flubs, curse words, topics that weren't really related to actual topics, probably some chewing sounds. I don't know. Look, it's a bonus episode, so it doesn't count in the larger scheme of numbers. But some people like to hear a little bit of what it's like for what doesn't make it to the air, what we're like off the mic, sort of Bob and I. So, with the music winding up here, this theme song, I give you a bunch of audio that hasn't been used before. I have one. I do have a little mucus I have to work out.
Okay, get that out of there.
Oh, goodness. Oh, God.
You're not opening up a lozenge, are you?
I am opening up a lozenge.
You're not going to put that in your mouth, or you're about to talk for however long we end up doing this.
It'll be good. I'm going to suck it real fast. Hold on.
Oh, you're always quick.
Oh.
Oh, Jesus. This is how we should come right back in.
Oh, but without the part about being a lozenge.
Yeah, no, just the noise you're making. Oh, my God. Are you almost done?
I'm trying to be. It's just a little chewy.
A chewy lozenge?
Well, no, as you break into it, the middle.
Oh, it's got one of those, like, menthol
Weird.
middles or something?
Yeah, which makes me think, is this candy? But no, it's almost there.
It's a Hubba Bubba lozenge.
Hubba Bubba Bubblegum is one of the funniest named things in the world. I'm almost done.
It's okay.
Here we go. Come on, man.
I'm sorry, but you just earlier had talked about how filthy you were, and that there was no way I would possibly know that. And then you said, well, maybe if I rub my hands together. And then that's exactly what you did. And that's all I could think is, wow, he's really still very dirty.
Well, I'll tell you, you're right. The crackers were broken. So I was sitting here with the bag in my lap, and I was scooping it out at a weird angle, like a monkey might do. And I was holding it up again like a monkey might do, and I was dropping it into my mouth because it was so crumbly, and I wanted to get all of them in, and I wasn't. So it fell all over my shirt, and it was all the cheddar was on my hands. So just then, because my glass looked kind of gross, I was wiping my hands together to get the last of the cracker bits off.
All right. Now that we've cleared that up, I promise I won't laugh during the pause.
All right. Well, I'm embarrassed about that. But here we go. All right. I'm glad we discussed that. This old house, our house, which was a Wilfred Brimley show, actually. We were discussing that earlier, too. Alice and I were reminiscing about not enjoying, but having watched anything with Wilford Brimley. The example being Our House, but the umbrella being anything with Wilford Brimley, because I do not enjoy viewing programming. He was in the Ewoks Battle for Endor. He was in The Thing. I'm sure he's shown up as a cop somewhere. I think he's in Cocoon. I was told, so maybe he's in Cocoon: The Return. Yeah. I do not find him engaging. She told me Wilford Brimley was a bodyguard for, she was saying, Howard Hughes.
Wow.
I was curious if you were going to say what I said, but you didn't.
No, I didn't. What did you say?
Howard Hughes or Howard Hughes? And she seemed to know that Howard Hughes was a single panel dog strip from Parade magazine. And Howard Hughes is the subject of the movie The Aviator, and I guess a real person too.
Did you also have the Reader's Digest?
We didn't get the Reader's Digest. I know what it is.
I would, whenever there was a new Reader's Digest, and was it monthly? I don't even know. But whenever I saw that my grandparents had a new Reader's Digest, I would spend my time, usually about 20 minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes, going through page by page, not reading the articles, but just waiting for the next joke part, because there was always a little...
Waiting? As if it was like, in a different book arriving?
Just expecting... Just turning the pages and reading through and looking for all the jokes. Sometimes it was a little one-panel thing, comic, and sometimes it was just like a little conversation. Sometimes there was like a longer, maybe half-page story, but I would always read the humor stuff in Reader's Digest.
I've never read Reader's Digest. And it made you, so you wanted to do a Reader's Digest episode. I've never read Reader's Digest. I know it exists.
I've only read the humor parts.
So it's set up like Parade.
It's like a monthly edition of Parade where it's nice and thick. And no, I guess it like shows portions of short stories.
Published, but not the whole short story. No, I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want someone to get some enjoyment and sense of completion out of something that comes once a month. No. I waited all month to get one chapter into the Hardy Boys and the Curse of Howard Hughes. Huge. It was just, I almost said excrements. Excerpts? It's just excerpts?
Honestly, I don't know.
But you read it.
I think it was excerpts, but I think it was like, honestly, I think it was...
Was it just like the middle part of a knock-knock joke? Like, not the whole joke, but...
No, the humor parts
like,
were
orangutan, orangutan who? And then you turn the page and it was something else. Do you know who Stephen Furst is?
I do.
He's awful. I know he's passed away. But he's just like, I'm a fat, cute guy, and he kind of shrugs and mugs at the camera, and you're supposed to be like, oh, Stephen Furst with the collar on. He sucks. And I'm sorry, because I know he's got next of kin and a following, and he's done some good work. But he was awful in the Dream Team. It's like baby voice, baby face. He might as well just be running. You know what I think of when I think of Stephen Furst? Baby Huey. I think of that actor, sure. Stephen Furst, in a big diaper on set, waiting for his call to set, and then they have to slide him into his costume in the last chance. But he's just in a big diaper going, just making baby faces and thinking he's adorable. He's not. And I'd like to see him do some dramatic work, but he's dead, so I won't.
Okay. I'm sure his wife, Lorraine, is not listening, so it's quite all right. It's two sons. Probably don't listen either. Oh. So
what's his first son's name?
His older son is Nathan.
And what's the other first's name?
Griff.
That was the joke. Wow. Do you live in the Widow First's apartment building?
I do.
Oh, is there just pictures of him on the wall, all just headshots? Yeah,
just everywhere.
And then a glass case of diapers.
Most of them are him
opened and unopened.
Drinking milkshakes for some reason.
Oh my God, I bet he did. Oh, I bet he's got two straws in his mouth, or it's Photoshopped so like he's on both sides and they're leaning in and drinking the straws.
No, I quickly went to his wiki page because I was hoping to find like some humanitarian causes that he supported.
Milkshakes. He supports, or is he against milkshakes?
He's against most things.
Yeah. Puts himself first.
He did write a letter to Variety in 2016 when the Oscar's So White campaign was happening.
His letter say, "Hey, everyone, lay off." What did his letter say?
It doesn't have
Also,
the letter.
he was alive in 2016. Maybe
he was
he's
alive
not
in
dead.
2016. He died last summer.
Oh, last summer.
Yeah.
Okay. Not the first, but it was the last.
She was also in something called Zombie Night in 2013.
Probably an ironic get. Like, she's going to be the Peter Graves of the millennial generation.
This also starred Anthony Michael Hall, Daryl Hannah, Alan Ruck. Zombie
Alan
Night.
Ruck is like 60-something.
Yeah.
He was like 40 in Ferris Bueller.
I was going to say, yeah.
He was in Vietnam as Corporal Ruck. And you know what? He didn't give a ruck. That was what he used to say on his talk show in the 40s on the radio. And I don't give a ruck. Alan Ruck, ladies and gentlemen. Up next, joke about someone old. I can't think of a single person from the Sydney Greenstreet will be here to make some fresh farm milk. I don't know. Okay, let's do this.
All right.
God. Imagine if the only actor I ever knew was Sydney Greenstreet. That was always my go-to. Like, who's the guy in that movie? Sydney Greenstreet? No. Who's in Real Steel? I think it's Sydney Greenstreet and the robot from Short Circuit, which is the movie where Sydney Greenstreet plays an Indian guy named Fisher Cat Stevens. Fisher Cat Stevens. I'm going to write that down.
I didn't even know Sydney Greenstreet existed.
He's sadly it's who Jabba the Hutt's based on.
Really?
I think so. If I'm thinking the right guy, he's hitting himself with a fly swatter in the Maltese Falcon.
Okay, I do see. Maybe
he talks like this.
I see.
Probably not at all. That's probably not what Sydney Greenstreet. Did you not enjoy Fisher Cat Stevens? Because I didn't write it down because I know I had just recorded it, but I'm going to use it somehow with everyone at work who will appreciate it, which is no one because I don't work with you. And that's a shadow that I think falls over this show or is cast by this show or however the metaphor of a shadow works, which was on TV the other night with Alec Baldwin. Let me tell you what we're never going to do. We're never going to do a shadow episode because I saw that in the movies. And I saw 5 minutes of it on TV for the first time since I saw it in the movies. And you know how awful it is if like you go to sit on a toilet and the middle piece is up as well. So when you sit, you keep going and your ass gets in the water and it's just gross, but you are consigned or whatever it is to do it anyway. So you just shit there and it simmers up. You know how bad that is?
Wait a minute.
Do you know that feeling?
I do, but did you just call the toilet seat, did you just call it the middle piece?
Yeah. What is it called? The lip?
No, I guess it's just the seat.
Isn't the whole thing a seat?
You got the lid that you lift up, and then there's a seat, and you're saying the seat is lifted up, and you're sitting on the actual...
Well, you're not supposed to. The example I'm giving is when you do that, accidentally, that sensation, exactly, is what the shadow is.
Got it.
You know what's more depressing is that the movie of the shadow knows that it is.
I have a stack of Far Side collections right here. I'm ready to go.
Oh, do you need to read them? Like, did you open them? Have you looked at them?
Well, before we start recording, I always say goodnight to the girls. And tonight I gave them each a choice of a Far Side book. So they each have one to look at bedtime. Oh. And one of my youngest was looking through it. And she was like, I can't understand all these words, but the ones that I do understand are funny.
Oh, that would have been great for the episode.
Well, I wish we were recording.
Yeah. Well, but good story, though.
Thank you.
That's very sweet that she likes that. I'm a little worried that she can't read. Isn't she like 14?
No, Far Side uses some, above grade level words.
Doug. He uses the word Doug an awful lot. The name. All right. Well, let's do this. That's great, by the way. I wasn't really putting down her reading level. I'm sorry.
Floral.
I got it. Did you say I got it?
Flora practical jokes. She might not have been able to read practical. I would be okay with that. And she could probably read Flora, but not know exactly what that means. So there.
So I am sorry, because this apparently is a hot button issue. I apologize for pressing it. Psst, was the sound that button made. No, there are words I didn't know when I was reading them today. Doug, Flora. I was very lost from panel to panel. And when I got to the end of the Far Side book I was reading, I was like, that plot didn't hold together at all. I don't get Michael Feces. What am I missing in that?
I don't know. It's a reference to your Everybody Poops.
Oh, right. Oh, God. I already forgot that. Thank you.
Yeah. But that's like, it doesn't make any sense anyway.
You know what you could have done? Peter Butt. You could have done that.
Okay, Peter Butt would have been good.
Yeah, because of Peter Buck in REM.
RBM.
That's much better. That's a good one. Oh, wow. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Oh, and I don't know if I can use that because I don't know if there's any setup for that. It's just an adult saying RBM and another adult finding it funny.
No, there's no setup you need. You just have your dialogue of REM and then me saying RBM, and I think people will understand.
People, because we listen to this. Why that word? Why signage? That's not something you would have said 5 years ago, is it?
If I were describing signs, perhaps.
When did that start? I know it's what people say, signage, but I never heard that until I was at least in my 30s.
I don't know. I mean, I guess
there's signs.
There are signs, but
the signage. You mean the sign? Yeah. I guess that's
the word
over.
Signage, man.
Really? I don't. I can't stand it. I cannot stand it. I also can't stand. I've been listening to this podcast, and people like
our
to create
podcast.
No, because we haven't had an episode in a while. No, when and maybe I've said some of this before. There are like certain things I don't like hearing on a podcast, and I've realized recently the one I don't like the most, and like we'll do it, but we cut it out of the episode. I hate it when people start talking to someone else in the house, in their house where they're recording, like a spouse or a friend, and it's unrelated to the podcast, but they didn't edit it out, and they think it's hilarious that this little bit's in there because the person's going, "Oh, I'm interrupting your show." Or like if they have a cat and the cat falls in the sink, and they have to say like they have to describe it so you know what's happening. They're like, "Hey, get out of the sink, Duchess. Duchess is in," and it's just It's like the professional thing to do would be to cut that out because nobody finds that engaging. I know they're trying to create a routine like This Is Us, where you record our show just like Zach Braff did on his short-lived show. But
they
it's
all
so
record
in
the bathroom?
They all record. Did he record his in the bathroom?
I don't know.
Did you watch that Zach Braff show?
I didn't. We refused to do that, remember?
I watched it. I watched 2 episodes of it.
Oh, did you? I can't recall.
It was awful, and mainly because it's him. Like, I didn't even give it a chance.
God, remember when we loved him in Garden State? Or did you never?
I did not. No, I've never seen it, actually. But boy, I hated reading about it and reading about him and his stupid face and garbage bag shirt. Yeah. I'm wearing a shirt that matches this wallpaper. Oh my God.
Yeah. I would have wanted a Star Wars Midnight Run is what I would have wanted. Where
with Charles Grodin?
With Charles Grodin as Forlom trying to get across the universe with a Robert De Niro type. I think that would have been a very fun action movie, Star Wars comedy ruckus.
Because I'm picturing Robert De Niro in the Dengar getup. And then for Charles Grodin, I'm either picturing him as mistakenly identified Forlom from the 80s or properly identified Zuckus since 1996.
Either of those could work.
Yeah, but I think Robert De Niro as Dengar looks pretty convincing. That's really clear.
I think sometimes
you're like, I can picture that, but you can't. It's really clear, and it really works. And he looks ridiculous.
And he should have, family issues, but also, just want to open a diner somewhere in the galaxy.
Now, is that the plot of Meet the Parents, or is that the plot of Analyze This?
That's part of
Was
Midnight
that
Run.
Taxi Driver? Oh, that's part of Midnight Run with Robert De Niro and Charles Grodin,
You've
a.k.a.
seen Midnight Run,
Furlong.
right?
I have not. I think you may have shown it to me, but I think I slept through it because all I know is the theme because I had that on a soundtrack. And it's a very 80s theme. It's kind of like, this could be an adventure movie. This could be trying to sell me on a new phone plan. I don't know what this song is for, but they could use it in both.
He had a book signing for it.
Yeah, I saw a picture of that on Instagram.
That was down the street from me, so I went to it.
That's why you went to it? Not because your friend had a book, but because it was down the street from you?
Yeah, because my friend has had a book out for a few months, but I haven't gone anywhere to buy it or get it signed.
Or read it?
So now that he's nearby, that's much easier. So
if he had been at your house, you would have just given him a pen and said, hey, next time you're over, can you bring this pen back with a copy of your book?
Yeah.
Not have him sign it, just the pen was to distract him so he didn't know you weren't paying for the book. So you went to his signing, though.
I did. And apparently the book is taken off more than they've expected. They've had interviews with monster websites or magazines or...
The job hunting website gave him a call?
That as well.
Well, that's great. That's great and makes me very jealous. But that's also great.
Yeah, well, that's part of why I'm posting comic strips again.
That's why? Not the fact that you and your friend do a podcast every week that number of people listen to? No, that's great. That's great. That's great that inspired you and pushed you forward.
Yeah.
Sorry it wasn't this show. This rinky-dink piece of shit didn't do anything to motivate you to be creative.
This show was motivating me to do this show. This is...
Well, that's
motivation.
That's a weird sentence. Because that's like saying, this breath of air makes me breathe.
Oh, yes. Now I'm tired.
Of me, yeah. Sorry. Let's do this quick then. Here we go.
All right.
Going into it. I'm glad that you were able to support your friend because he was the next house over. That's great. That's really great. I bet he appreciated that from the comfort of your own home. I didn't end up going to see Mask of the Phantasm last week. I had a ticket to see that at the re-release. I didn't go.
Oh.
It was the day that Stan Lee died. So I was like, I don't want to go.
Yeah, that'll throw you.
It did.
Don't want to see a fucking DC movie on that day.
Well, that wasn't why.
That was the only reason.
That was it. I was like, man, why did I want to see this before when he was alive? No, it was just I was surprisingly sad and wanted to capitalize on it by recording myself. What a douchebag.
Oh, that was
everyone hearing me mourn. Hey,
honestly,
did everybody hear what I had to say about the death of the man I didn't know? Did everybody hear how it touched me and how I got choked? Did everybody? Such a douchey thing to do.
I don't know if it's douchey. I was looking forward to it, to be perfectly honest. I thought you would have.
Then you hit play. You're like, oh.
No, right. I honestly, before it was even out there, I was like, I bet Tim will put something out there. I look forward to seeing what he has to say, and I liked what you said.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm curious if if when Steve Ditko died, I did the same thing. If it was just that again. No, it wasn't. Because that was cashing in. Because I actually don't know Steve Ditko as much as I.
The next time a comic book icon does pass away, you should re-release the Stan Lee thing, but just replace the name, like with a really bad voiceover.
Chris Claremont passed away today. Chris Claremont had cameos in X-Men: Days of Future Past. I don't know why I'm doing the bad version of the Popperkosh voice, which I hate. I hate that part. Did you listen to the Flight of the Navigator episode?
I listened to the first half of it, and then I got pulled away and haven't.
Then I got bored.
No, I just haven't gotten back to it.
Pulled away, and I jumped 7 years into the future.
Oh my God! How many times do I need to explain this? I listened to it at work. There's a lot of...
I think one more time's fine.
Okay. So there's a lot of times where I can just sit there...
You know that I don't know that's the only place you listen to it, by the way. You could have been pulled away by a kid. You mentioned how you have kids. You could have been pulled away
but I don't...
by traffic.
I don't listen to it in traffic because I don't drive far enough, and I don't listen to it
I don't think you've ever
around.
said the only place I would allow myself to listen to because I'm what?
You're vulgar, so I can't listen to it with the kids around.
You swear on the show too.
I know. I'm just
saying.
But
I'm vulgar because I don't have kids. That's vulgar. No, I that's fine, by the way, whatever it is. I don't think you've ever expressed that the only place you would ever possibly listen to the show is when you're supposedly working for a living.
Oh, I thought I was having a heart attack today.
Oh, really?
I literally looked up the symptoms. Turns out I
did that with cancer.
Hotter in the office than usual.
That's one of the symptoms. Heart attack. Oh, hotter in the office. It sure is. You know you have a heart attack when you might be. I don't know how that works, but I'm sorry. Was it stress and the heat of the office?
Yeah, like I kept breaking out in a sweat, and I thought it was just me. And then I finally was like, "Hey, is anybody else also dying?" But they said no. It's just warmer than usual.
Oh, okay. Did somebody go hilarious or something?
No.
Rim shot.
They actually all looked at me like they looked at me like I was insane because I hardly ever speak to anyone else.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Except when your life is threatened, which is
Except
a good.
when I feel like I'm.
That's a good policy. Is there a person in your office, like he or she will lean from behind a cubicle? I can't even speak tonight. And go, rim shot after a joke? Because I assume no office has that.
No, there is no one that does that.
So.
I do have the woman that sits in front of me. I recently moved cubicles, and so she is someone I work with regularly, but now I'm behind her. And so we talked to each other, and she was talking to me, just kind of looking her eyes over. And then she said that you can call me Wilson. And I thought, that's great. I'll call you Wilson.
Oh, like on the Home Improvement.
That's right.
That's awful.
She made a Wilson reference.
Oh, that's not her real name, but she was referencing her favorite show of all time.
I don't think it's her favorite show. I think she was doing it sardonically.
Oh, okay. You can call me Wilson. Is that how it sounded?
It was more like that, yeah.
Wow. By the way, most great stories start with, I changed cubicles at work, so thank you. Remember how we used to have a catchphrase?
Yeah, I was actually going to pull the catchphrase out from the last time, but then it slipped my memory. It was really funny. It was an inside joke.
And that's best for our listeners, I think.
I can't remember.
If there's one thing people love, it's an inside joke.
What was it? It was Dr. Doom said something funny. Wasn't it?
Oh, toot.
Toot!
Oh, you're yes.
That's right.
That was an inside joke for you, I, and whoever's Instagram page I stole that image of Dr. Doom blowing a horn on. Conch shell, to be truthful. That was a hard sentence. It was a conch shell that he blew. Speaking of blowing.
Toot.
Toot. I only listened to Snacks once. Normally I listen to the episode twice to make sure it's okay. But Snacks once, because it seemed fine.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good. More of that, please. More Snacks. All right, well, you ready?
More fine recordings. Yes, I'm ready.
More. We could use some refined recordings. Is that what you said?
Well, I said
It's
fine
the gist
recordings,
of what you
not
said.
refined, but fine.
Find. They're right
fine.
here. Found. Is this some of that fine footage film that people like? Is it the Blair Witch proper? It's a fine footage. There's a better joke in there. That was off the top of my head.
That was pretty decent.
Was it?
Yeah.
I haven't been sitting on. You know how sometimes you sit on a joke for a while, and then when and you work it in, but you want it to seem spontaneous. But it's like I've had that in my head since I heard it on TV or whatever. But that was in the moment, and I felt it putting together in my head, and it wasn't very good, but it was nice to at least be like, that's how that worked.
It flowed really well, and it made sense, and it worked. I got the joke, and I liked it.
Footage.
I give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay, that's really good.
Yeah.
Movie house? I can't fucking do the impression. Can you do a Jimmy Stewart impression?
I used to think I could, but I can't now, and I'm not going to try.
I used to think I could do Mickey Rooney, and I can't. I'm Mickey Rooney, and I like little boys. No, but that doesn't sound like him. It's just, it's what I think when I see him. You know, he's dead, and I don't think that matters. Like, you can still put that body in a movie. Like, if they did Another Night at the Museum, you put Mickey Rooney's body in there. Mickey Rooney always thought he was the best thing in everything he did. Yeah. You know what's worse than Mickey Rooney? Not much. Like a drama with Tim Conway might be, but otherwise, Mickey Rooney is not a treasure. He's not a treasure. He's also dead, so I'm sure it's no gift now. Do you like Mickey Rooney?
He's my dad.
I didn't know your dad passed away. I'm sorry.
I have no. Mickey Rooney, he's fine, I guess. I have no feelings
for your dad.
For Mickey Rooney father figure.
This got painful. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think you've ever talked about Mickey Rooney much.
It did, and I'll tell you why after we record.
Okay. He's in the room visiting? Oh, shit. Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Hi, I'm Mickey Rooney. I'm here to play with Bob's toys. I don't know. Anyways, here we go.
Okay.
That's my Mickey Rooney impression. Next week, Agnes Moorehead. I'm Agnes Moorehead. Bewitched. I don't know. I don't have impressions.
Sorry.
Whew. Sorry. I'm getting there. I'm getting. Here's an Oasis song. I'm getting better all the time. No, it's not. But I wish I had planned that because I would rattle off. I'm sure I will in this episode rattle off a lot of Beatles jokes.
I thought you were actually going to name an Oasis song because there is a song that you listen to called "It's Getting Better, Man."
Yes, there is a song called "It's Getting Better, Man." There's also a song in one of the albums called "Stand By Me," which is a lot of hubris to name a song after one of the California Raisins hits. That's weird because it's not that song, but it is called that song. It's like if I wrote a song.
There are a lot of songs out there that share names. There's like
there are not actually.
There are.
There are not classic giant hits that are then repurposed as the title of another song without it being intended as a way of marketing the song. Stand By Me is the only Ben E. King song I know. So for another band to have a song also called Stand By Me is an obvious intentional thing.
I disagree that was intentional.
Do you think that all of Sue George's albums are his original songs? He's just singing David Bowie songs.
That's over my head. What?
It was everything I just said.
Yeah.
It was that bit, basically. And I put the headphones on when I said it, and I made a cardboard microphone. So they know where I stand, and they know where they can find my show. Send me the link. It's at 28popcast.com. Yeah, but send me the link for that. But that's even lazier. Like, I get it if you're kind of like, send me the link to, on iTunes because I don't know how to find it. But if someone's like, send me the link for 20popcast.com, that's just like, that's bullshit. Because they just said what they have to type in. Yeah. They just said what I'm going to type. They're making me type it. And then they're not, I think the only reason that happens when someone says that is so that you've sent it, so in your head you're like, oh, they're looking at it, they're not going to look at it.
No,
honestly, it's going to sit in an unopened email because if they open it, then you get that notification that they opened it, and then you can be like, did you look at it? But if they don't open it, you sent it, but it's just sitting there.
I think they're asking for the link because they don't trust that they'll remember 20popcast.com.
Then they can write it down. You're already giving them a show to listen to. You've already done your part. If they really care, they can take the time to write it down. Oh, I don't know. Maybe they could borrow somebody's phone because nobody carries their phone, and they could type it in. That does seem to me just like a fuck you. Like, oh, I really want to support you. Will you do all the work? And I'll just say, now I know where it is. Because that is, all they want is to know that they physically have the link from you. Mm. It's like when you don't open up friends' CD, like band CD or mix CD. Like you must have that feeling. You gave someone a mix CD and you know they'll never listen to it. It just sits there.
Yeah.
I think I've listened to
a year later. I was the cockiest I've ever been about a mix CD. A year after I gave it to them, they said that they listened to it. Hey, we broke it out at the party, and it's a really good mix. And I was like, yeah. Why did it take you a year to listen to it? And then he left.
Do you think he listened to it?
I do believe he listened to it a year after I gave it to him at this party.
We broke it out. We busted it out.
He had no reason to tell me he listened to it, and he chose to because it was that good.
Why did you give it to him?
Because I'm good at making mixtapes.
So it had nothing to do with him? It's
No,
all about you?
It never has anything to do with the person I'm giving it to.
Well, that just steps on the points we're making then.
They're just a reason to make the tape. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, I can't tell. In this scenario, they're saying, hey, we want to have a kid. You're saying, do not.
Right.
Out of the blue. Unwarranted and unsolicited.
Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily out of the blue. They did bring the topic up.
To say that they're attempting to have a child, it sounds like. Not to say like, Bob, what's Canning's hot take? What's your Canning? What would you call that? What's a good piece of alliteration for like your view on something?
Oh,
what's your Canning caffeine? I don't know. I can't do this.
Yeah,
caffeinated can. I don't. There's got to be something. What's your
we
Canning
could have Canning's
call?
Corner, but that doesn't.
You could. You make a Canning call. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to figure that out.
What's your Canning call on that? Yeah, a Canning call.
If somebody wants a hot Canning call, all they have to tell you is that they're trying to sire some children. If sire is not a sexist word, I'm not sure. It probably is because you call a king sire, so it probably is. So you hate kids. Tell your kids. Tell your kids this because I'm not going to talk to them.
You know what? I don't hate kids. I think I dislike parenting.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'll tell your kids that. See how that goes.
I'll mention it to them. I think they know. I think they have a very good sense of that.
I'm curious, again, once we start, because, the episodes average between 49 minutes and an hour. This could be our shortest episode, or this could be our longest episode.
I don't think it will be.
No?
I think it'll be about average. It'll be in line with our...
It's an average topic. It's about snacks.
It's about reminiscing about our childhood snacks, our youth, because I've got a college snack in here, too.
A college snack?
Yeah.
I guess I didn't name what kind of snacks.
Well, I call it a college snack because...
I got a post 3:30 p.m. snack. I got a 1986 snack. I got a Gulf War snack. You didn't eat it till college?
I didn't try one until college. I didn't even...
Marijuana
I knew it existed. Yeah, until college, and then I didn't eat them after college. It was strictly a college snack.
Oh, now I'm almost intrigued. I'm almost now wishing we had already started the episode so that we could be at that story, because I want to know what this is. You don't have to tell me now.
No, I won't.
But maybe in the episode it'll come up.
I bet it will.
Is a martini 2 parts gin to 1 part vermouth, or the other way around?
I'll be honest, I don't know. I've never been a martini drinker.
It's all we have in the house. So the one that I made was 2 parts gin and some vermouth.
That's probably not right.
No? There should be more vermouth than gin?
I really don't know.
Well, your statement makes me think otherwise.
How about 50-50? Wouldn't that have been...
I don't think that's it. I don't think it's 2 shots gin, 2 shots vermouth. Have you ever had vermouth? It's gross.
I don't think I've...
Yeah, it's not
I don't think I've
pleasant.
had gin.
That's weird. Really?
I don't know. I mean, I've
had a gin and tonic. A G&T, as nobody should call it.
I've never had a gin and tonic.
Really? You never had a gin and soda?
No.
A gin and ginger ale?
No, I don't think so.
A gin and Hosmer Mountain Cola Blue?
No.
Really? What do you drink?
I mean, I haven't had too many drinks. I've drink things with vodka. I drink things with rum, and I drink things with whiskey.
You describe the other 3 liqueurs. You drink a lot. I
drink a lot, but I don't think I've had gin, is what I'm saying.
Well, okay. Next time you're out, maybe try it. It's similar to vodka to the point that makers of vodka oftentimes also make a gin.
I see.
And if you're sometimes shopping, you might pick the wrong one because the bottles look very similar.
Ah.
Which is why I went back out and got the vermouth.
Am I still a decent distance? Because I shifted a little.
You're fine.
Okay, good.
I wasn't listening, so I don't know, but you seem fine.
Okay.
You seem good. You're still in California, right?
Yes, sir.
That's perfect.
Haven't shifted that far.
I'm here on the West Coast. Nope.
Tectonic plate shift.
That's the extent of my knowledge of what that word means, but
I'm pretty sure that's all it means, right?
Well, I think there's a lot to it, but yeah.
Okay.
TPS. That could be your Teutonic? Tectonic.
Tectonic. TETONICKXRT4.
Okay, tectonic.
Yep.
Technotronic plates from the Franklin Mint. Is Technotronics a band? I think.
Yeah.
And if they're not, they are now. There's also a band called High Tech 3, which is what I was thinking. They sing Spin That Wheel, Turtles Get Real on the Ninja Turtles soundtrack. I don't know if they say Turtles Get Real in the song, but it's in parentheses. If you look at the cassette for side 1, it says Spin That Wheel, open parenthetical, Turtles Get Real, close parenthetical. High Tech 3. Thank you. Boy, I fucked that up.
I thought Swingers is what kind of pushed us to get the hockey game for our 64.
I think it pushed you to, because I once said Chasing Amy and you corrected me and said it was Swingers.
Oh.
And you got it, so in my head it was always Chasing Amy. But
maybe it was.
No, because you corrected me once before when this came up.
Oh, well, it's just my memory.
Because you said you got it because of Swingers. And I said, I don't like that movie. And you said, Singles? I said, no, I like that. And you said, no, I'm counting all my money. I'm like, oh. And what do you have? And you said, Singles? It's like, yeah, I have it on DVD. You said, no. I said, what? You said, I'm still counting all my money. And I sat for a while and you went, Baby Grand. And I didn't know what you meant. And then I heard you started to play My Life on the piano. So I was like, oh, okay. This was like 2 years ago in the earlier days of this podcast.
Wow. We should find that outtake.
Outtake? I think it's in the episode. Look for the Bob Eats a Piano episode from 2017 where we talk about Vince Vaughn and then you eat a piano while humming My Life. Well, enough about Legos and Playmobiles. Do you have any Duplo
one more
blocks?
thing about Playmobil.
Oh, yeah.
I once comically, I think I even posted on Facebook, I once saw a Playmobil city set, and it was the bank. And they had, the teller, they had just regular bank type things, but they included, a bank robber, which I thought was kind of edgy for Playmobil to include crime in their set. Which is not something you needed to hear.
Wait, was that your joke? Well, this is kind of edgy for Playmobil, huh? Crime and there's that.
Yeah.
I thought you said that was your joke.
That was it.
That's a good joke.
It's not a joke. It was just an observation.
I thought you said something funny about it. When that is funny.
I saw something funny. I thought that was a funny thing to see.
Well, they probably did that so kids would have some, plot. Otherwise, it's just who wants to play banking. I'll get turned down for the loan. Oh,
I guess.
Yeah,
that wasn't funny at all.
Well, one more story then. My sister had this My Little Pony, barn for the ponies, and it had those things that horses jump over, hurdles.
Right.
But her My Little Ponies, one of them had wings, and so I would take the one with the wings and I would point at the hurdles. And I would go, who are those for?
That is funny.
I thought it was. They were for the other ponies. And they can also be for that pony. It didn't have to use its wings.
No, you can keep that in reserve.
I had a Tonka dump truck that was metal and yellow. And I was driving it around. And then my sister came along and said, I handed it to her and she walked away with it. And I said, she took my dump truck. I was 4. I just had a huge moment this week of really listening to a lot of Huey Lewis.
Well, did it make you feel good or bad?
Some of it did. Some of it I really enjoyed. I was surprised how less I like Back in Time now. I used to love that more than Power of Love as a child. I like it, but I'm like, that's a lot of horns.
See,
and it's like
I like it because of the horns.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I listened to it because I'm like, it sounds like he didn't see the movie. And he's in the movie, so it's like you with this podcast. Well, just because I feel like the lyrics aren't, like there are some songs, that like the Ninja Turtles have a rap that tells you the whole movie, but gets wrong who's the leader. And like there's Cleaning Up the Town from Ghostbusters tells you the plot, and most times that they let Will Smith rap now, he's telling you the plot of the movie. I feel like Back in Time, while it references Marty, tell him to get back. The other references that which as a child where I thought like, oh, he's in the moment. It's like I think he may have seen like Star Trek 4, which came out the next year, so that doesn't make any sense. He calls him Doctor versus Doc. Nobody calls him Dr. Brown.
Well, you do in song.
In that song.
Yeah.
And also, but the lightning thing, I guess, that makes me think like, oh, he knows the plot. But also, well, at that point, people didn't know. But I'm like, he knows enough of it. I'm surprised there's not a lyric like, and I hope that your band plays, because that's the scene he was in. But that's not. He is singing it as Marty, except for the part where he says, get back, Marty, right?
I think he's singing it as a third-person observer. Like he's kind of along for the ride with the two of them.
So he's Jennifer.
Sure. Yeah, he's Jennifer.
Einstein. Imagine if he was Einstein. He must be rack and rhyme.
Actually, I think you should listen to it again. He might be singing from Einstein's perspective.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But also, I remember this bothered me as a child, even though it's only there for the rhyme scheme. The only year he mentions is not a year they go to. There's 3 different choices, and it's not even one of the decades they go to. Is this the future? Is that what he says?
Or 1999.
Which at that point, that is the future.
That is the future.
Wow, I didn't even think, like, I was listening to it now, so I'm like, future past. At the time that he sang it,
he sings, is this the 60s or 1999?
Wait,
what? I'm pretty sure he says, is this the 60s, maybe even the 50s or 1999? Yeah, I think.
Are you serious?
I think so.
I think he just blew my mind more than... I was going to make a fellatio joke, but no, really?
Yes, because I would have also had been aware of that really incorrect...
Gaping inconsistency in how a lyric works.
Right, so that never stood out for me, so I really do think that's because he says 50s or 60s.
Wow.
In that line.
Now I can't wait to go back to that song.
I mean, you'll have to go back to it, absolutely.
In time, I will.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever read The Diary of Anne Frank?
No, in fact, I haven't.
Oh, that. Look, I don't know. That is deep. It's heavy. I mean, it's
a big book?
It's a journal. So no, she didn't finish it.
So it's not that heavy.
Well, no, but I mean, like you read it, you're like, oh wow, this is wow.
I see. So you're not talking physical girth.
No, I don't know the girth of it. I just know like the emotional.
Got it.
Wait, it's just you read that book and every page is like this. You're like, there's another page. It is. Do you know what it's about? Like, you haven't read it, but have you heard about it?
Isn't it like a kid in middle school having a really hard time in life?
Sort of.
Like a lot of cartoons?
It's sort of like that very good, no bad, whatever day.
Yeah.
Again, a little different.
A little different. Hey, let's make sure none of this goes public.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Are people not into that?
I'm pretty sure it's not going to fly for our 2 listeners. Okay. You and me. We're going to be like, oh, that's so offensive.
It's not, though, because I'm in no way, and this is the thing, and I don't know where I stand on this, because you're right. I think I would be cautious, too. I'm just like, it is in no way a joke saying Nazis all right or Holocaust okay. It's a joke about the fact that here is something that is a weighty book, and the person who thinks that they can somehow be, like, telling you this. Like, if someone's like... It's like someone telling you, like murder is bad. No, it's bad. Right. Here's what. It's like, it's just, that's it. And the fact that, it's a fucking Diary of Anne Frank. That's a funny name. Okay. I guess we won't use it. All right. Anything else we want to say before we go? No, because every now and then I get that, but I'm just like, and I'm not being the whole, you can't say anything, but I'm just like, and you're right. But it's like, it's not poor taste per se. Yes, I would know my audience, which again is 2 people. But it's also like, I wouldn't be in a synagogue saying that joke.
Sure.
I wouldn't be with someone who's at the time, if someone told me, hey, my grandparents died in Auschwitz, I wouldn't make that joke.
Right.
But that's also not what the joke's about. But because I'm like, well, that's the bad time for that. But I thought it was funny. Not the book.
I think you and I were both entertained.
The book's really droll.
By our little mini conversation.
Okay, but not...
The book's droll.
Not for the Blooper 2 episode.
Maybe. Because it's a blooper. We will admit that might have been a blooper.
Yeah, that's true. Hitler's blooper. I don't know if you know the TV bloopers, a practical joke thing.
Oh, I know
But it'd be funny to play that like you watch a Hitler Nuremberg rally, the whole speech, he's shouting, whatever, and then you just end it with burp, burp, and that little, what's his name, what are the artist's name, animated guy pushing the broom comes
pushing
out,
the broom
and the elephant. Oh my God. And then they pull a practical joke on whatever joke would be funny there. I hated the practical joke parts. I did not like that. Dick Van Dyke, perhaps.
I didn't mind the practical jokes.
I don't like
especially if I
jokes.
knew the celebrity.
Well, yeah. But I remember there was one where Dick Van Dyke, they invited him to town because they were going to name the street after him. And then these people were protesting, so all of a sudden they named the street something else. It's going back and forth. And I remember Dick Van Dyke made the realization the same moment my mom made the realization. He was like, how'd they change that sign so fast? And my mom remember her saying, like, that's not funny because he was probably very excited to have a street named after him. And I'm like, I bet you are right.
That's actually really sad for Dick Van Dyke.
Probably. I mean, not as sad as still being Dick Van Dyke. I saw a headline where he paid to be in the new mirror. I don't know. I'm just like, he's great, but I'm just like...
He is pretty great. I think I would love to be still Dick Van Dyke. Think of all the things Dick Van Dyke has done, and he's still around being Dick Van Dyke.
So that's the thing. Think of all the people who aren't. All the people he's seen died. And think about his relevance and his inability to do... Like, I'm pretty sure they CGI his head on a dancer for the new Mary Poppins movie. Think about that.
I don't think that's true, since I just
Think
saw...
about the Diary of Dick Van Dyke.
A news story where he actually did the dance. And
was that true?
Everyone was surprised. Yeah, that was...
Is that true? Because it's very easy to say that sentence.
I mean, they just did I believe...
Did they CGI him into an interview with the dancer? I
believe it when Lin-Manuel Noriega, or whatever his name is, Miranda...
I'm pretty sure that's... Yeah, okay. It's not Noriega.
When he says, we were nervous for you when you jumped up there, but... Oh my God, you pulled it off. So I don't know why he would say that if it was the CGI Dick Van Dyke.
And then was there also an anecdote told by an animated alligator about it? Because it might be part of our promotional material. It's like, well, yeah, I was staring at his shoes the whole time. So I thought I recognized him. I said, didn't we go to college together? Dick Van Dyke said, no. I said, I'm talking to your shoes. No, I don't know.
How'd we get there? What... Oh my gosh.
Well, I don't want to bring the room down, but Diary of Anne Frank brought us there.
Right. All right, we've reached our 30-minute warm-up point.
Yes, just about. We have a minute and 2 seconds to talk about the astronaut who was on the Challenger, who was also a teacher. What was her name?
Oh, Jesus.
I don't remember what it was.
Krista McAuliffe?
McCullough. Was that what it was? McAuliffe?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You heard that Big Bird was supposed to be on that, right? Or the actor who played Big Bird?
I heard that was an option. Yes.
They were going to send him in the Big Bird suit.
As Big Bird.
Can you imagine that?
Oh, Bird.
I know it's tragic anyways, but imagine that.
Yeah.
One, because of how they'd have to explain it on the show, but two, because the two images, when I heard that story...
Explaining it on the show is pretty easy. He flew away.
No, they would have talked about him dying. There would have been a way to discuss the Challenger.
Yeah, that's true.
But I more think of the feathers coming down from the explosion, or a fully cooked turkey splashing down into the ocean. Those are the two things I immediately thought of.
Wow,
that story.
This is for the blooper reel. Good, great.
And why is that okay? It's death either way.
It's not okay.
Oh, okay.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's do this then.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay. So that's what an outtake episode sounds like. either in small increments or if you listen to the whole thing, what a whole outtake episode sounds like. Thanks for listening. So again, this is just more of a bonus episode. Next week we'll be back. Next week we're almost to a pretty big milestone for the show. Next week's episode is numbered as the 99th episode, and as such, Bob and I will be doing what has traditionally been sort of our quarter episode of what we did on the 25th, 50th, and 75th. We're going to be doing a bunch of Pop Fives. Pop Fives is a little game he and I play where we ask each other to list off some various pop culture items, in a time frame of just 30 seconds without any prior thought. And it's a way of generating some pop culture discussions from the 80s and 90s. So we'll be doing that in anticipation of our milestone episode next week. And then 2 weeks after that, the big 100th episode, we've got a topic that matters to this show that we'll be talking about on that episode, Bob and I. So, yeah, it's a big deal to me. I don't know if it's a big deal to anyone else, but it's big to me. The show's been around for over 2 years. Bob and I have been doing it for 2 years. A lot has happened, a lot's gone on, and so to kind of, honor that with some arbitrary measurements of numbers, next few shows are going to be taking kind of a look into why this show matters to me, hopefully matters to Bob, maybe it does, and how he and I have kind of grown and changed since the 80s and 90s. I'm rambling here. Look, 20th Century Pop will be back next week. You can always check it out at 20popcast.com. You can subscribe to the show there. You can read blog posts written by myself. You can follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at 20popcast. So many different things. You can find them all on the website, 20popcast.com. None of this will be making it to the next outtakes because this has all been 100% pure dialogue. Monologue. Audio. This is audio. All right, I'm actually going right now. But see you next week? Well, I won't, but maybe you'll hear me next week. I guess if you live in my vicinity, I might see you, but chances are I won't. So, check us out next week.